Joey B Productions.
Yeah, yeah, When I walk up in the store, spin a stack up on my bag. Shawty wanna find me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode on Imperfect Children Entertainment. It is your host, Xavier Castillo and Brian Lucero once again. Today, before us, we have a very prominent guest on the screen. He's been in the manosphere space for quite some time now. He's an 8-time author, 81,000 subscribers on YouTube. He has been helping men and women with lifestyle and dating advice and has been helping men with self-development. So without further ado, let's please give it up for Mr. Ron Wills.
Ron Wills.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir. So, Mr. Wills, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Just interested in asking questions, finding out what's going on, having a great conversation.
For sure.
Yes, sir. And we are very astounded to have you here once again. And we've been actually watching for your content for a little bit now. My dad has been watching you for a minute, and he put me on to you on this little, not necessarily journey, but on the game that you spit and everything. And it has helped me a bit in some ways too. You along with Mr. Lucario and everybody in those lanes. So it's very prominent. So I know just the rudimentary factors about you. Can you please tell us where you're from and, stuff like that, as far as where you're from and where you grew up and stuff like that? We'd like to get a little intro on our guest.
Well, I was born in LA, but I basically grew up in Washington, D.C. I grew up in Washington, D.C., live in Maryland now, outside of Baltimore.
Okay.
So it's had an interesting life. But now my main thing, ironically, even though I'm known for being a YouTuber, I'm really a writer. Written several books on relationships and also several fiction books.
Yes, sir.
So, that's my main thing. But actually, I would say my mission in life is really to help everyone to become the best versions of themselves.
Exactly. I love
Wonderful. It. Yes, sir. And it's crazy because, we have a lot of people out here who are getting into that type of space, but you've actually been in it for quite some time. So big salutes to you. And which actually brings me to my first question, as far as because we do understand that you do some type of knowledge and stuff about women and just from the female perspective on men and how lifestyle and dating can correlate with each other and stuff like that. So, sir, I wanted to ask you, how did all this inspiration come about for you to actually start this and drift along this way?
Actually, just from the writing, because back in the 90s, when I decided I wanted to be a writer, I wrote a story. It was called The Perfect Man. And I'm not even thinking about the relationship part. It was about relationships, but that was more about a man just being true to himself. But a lot of women read it and they took it, they were just like, wow, it made them think about some things because the main character was pretending to be a perfect man for two different women. So that's when I started seeing the relationship stuff. And plus there was a lot of talk about that back in the 90s. Okay. But then what happened, I wrote a pamphlet for ladies called Finding a Good Man. And for me, it was just something to sell at vending shows. I didn't even take it that seriously, but women were going crazy over it.
For sure.
So I did a lot of stuff based on that. And then what happened was I came to a lot of men were asking me for something. And ironically, at the time, I didn't think men needed anything because I was around a lot of men who were successful with women. But as I was getting out there more and more, guys were saying we need some. So I wrote something for the men, and that's what really made me take off. I wrote this book, Nice Guys and Players, Becoming the Man Women Want. And it's really all about self-development. Like all my stuff, even when I talk game or even when I'm doing a car video and I seem like I'm just some dude on a corner or something, everything is really going in the same direction.
Right.
To become the best version of yourself. Because indeed, I've even said, women are just one part of a man's program. He has to work on the other areas of his life. He has to work on his sovereignty. He needs to have a job, career, something. He has to have a mission. And he has to have some leverage in his life, some control over what he can control, leverage over everything else. Because also talk about being a sovereign man. And what I mean by sovereign, not like how some other people may say it, but just having some control, being able to take care of yourself. That's
Gotcha.
my main
Yeah.
thing. The women are they're the commercial to the main program because a man's primary relationship is with himself, with his mission, with his purpose in life.
Exactly.
That is 100% facts.
100%.
100% facts. That's actually what
we
we ca-
learn. We usually just watch your videos and we learn. We literally take notes on everything, and we do tend to me and him like talk about the video. Oh, what did we learn about this video?
yes.
And then
Okay.
we kind of just go within each other, and then we just learn. Like I really enjoy your videos. It's pretty amazing. You be doing a good job for real.
Yes, sir. And
Oh,
so
thank you.
I know you've been in the space for quite some time. So let's look back to the past because you've been in this for quite some time now. Can you give us a number on that? How long you've been in this space? You would say.
Really since 2014.
Okay.
Like if you go to my site, it'll say 2008, but you know how you gotta like set up a channel or something just to comment on some things.
Yes.
And I would watch a video here and there, but it was 2014 when I did my first video. And ironically, I wasn't even thinking about subs or anything because I had a website, romwills.com, and I was always doing blogs on it every week. But then one week I didn't feel like writing anything, so I said, okay, I can put a video on here. And at the time, you know, I couldn't upload directly because I was being cheap. So I said, oh, well, I can upload to YouTube and then just put a link on the website.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And I did that a couple times, and then I looked up and I was like, wait a minute, I'm starting to get some subs. I was like, and even then I was still like, But then people were commenting, and then I started getting more into the YouTube side of things.
Right.
And then they actually changed on my. I actually stopped being cheap and upgraded the website so I could upload directly. But then I still stayed on YouTube. And even then, I wasn't thinking about money or anything. I was just spreading my message. And I seriously, I did not think anything like, oh, I can make money, I can be famous. It was like. It was kind of like accidental. It was like, oh, I can make money from this. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I kept
Understood.
going, but the main thing was helping people. It was a medium to help people because, you know, a lot of times some YouTube content creators might get a negative negative reputation.
Mm-hmm.
But you have so many things. You have so much knowledge shared on YouTube. It's the perfect thing. I mean, everything from job skills, how to cut your hair, how to fix your TV,
Exactly.
how to cook burgers in the oven, everything. And that's the beauty of it. But it's really helping a lot of young men and women. There are many content creators who are giving some really powerful information on so many things. It is really a free university in my view.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. That is 100% facts once again. And you're part of that circulation as well. So big thanks to you for that, for sure. And so looking back, I know you wrote your first book, if I'm not mistaken, in 2000, the year 2000 or 2002, correct? 2000?
Well, 2000. Well, technically, I wrote my first book in 1996. It was a work of fiction.
Okay.
But one thing in the publishing, well, any business, it's very rare to start off like with a bang. So I had to build up. My first book that really took me over the top was in 2000, Nice Guys and Players. And that was just incredible. It was a word of mouth revolution. I didn't spend any money on marketing, but people just kept talking about it. And it was just basic. It was just becoming the best version of yourself, because my whole argument with that book, well, not argument, but what I was presenting was women don't quite want the nice guy. They like him for some things.
Right.
And yeah, they like the player, but then they don't want him for other things. But if a man had the best of both worlds, they would love it. They would love that man. So it was to help the men out. But then many women actually purchased the book as well and said it gave them a perspective. They wanted that man who was actually just the best version.
Mm-hmm.
Understood, because I know when it can come to these women, they know, like, in a sense what they like, but they don't understand what they like until they really, like, as far as like concentrate on it. Like, it's just in their nature to like something, but once like they say, once they read your book and they got a good exact pinpoint on it, they're like, okay, actually they do some self-reflection and like, okay, this is actually what I drift towards to. So, you know, it does give good insight on that. So from 2000 to present day 2023, is there any voids in the dating game, or as far as like I know the game never changes, but any voice that you have seen from there to now that have like you have noticed and pinpointed, or has it just been the same for you?
The only thing that's really changed is just the technology. Because one
Right.
thing, a lot of things that happened like in the dark back when I was coming up, everything talked about now was already happening, but we didn't have the same access to it. We didn't know what was going on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, before I started really writing the book, I didn't have that strong a concept that so many men were having trouble. I knew some were having trouble, but we didn't have what we have now. And we didn't have really, even though some of it could be considered negative, we didn't have the same perspective overall. Some of us did. Some of us seen some things, but then we got more now. We can find out right away. I mean, the technology has definitely just opened up everything. We can't hide anything anymore.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that's a good thing because we can see the reality. Because one of the things I promote is just seeing the reality of stuff, but then how to solve it. In my view, men in particular can solve some issues just by being the best version of themselves. And then even when they're dealing with the women, they have a men will be in a position just to deal with the right women who can be an asset to them. They don't have to put up with anything.
Right.
Say if a man has options, then he can get the best woman, and the best woman is always going to be an asset. He don't have to put up with some stuff like he used to. And that's why I try to tell men because I'm not the type who y'all see me. I don't really put anything on the women as far as blaming them. I
Yeah.
acknowledge what they'll do, but I'm like, well, that's good and bad. But if a man has control over himself,
He has
he
control
can.
of the situation.
If a woman come up, she doing something bad. You say, oh no, honey, I don't have to deal with you. I have options. I feel good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm becoming the best version. So if you come into me, you have to be an asset and you have to do something to add to my life. And
Exactly.
if you cannot do that, I wish you well.
Mm-hmm.
Because a major issue is a lot of guys feel like they have to deal with a certain woman or they have to put up with this. They say, oh, they get mad. No, you don't have to do anything. A man's main relationship is to himself.
Exactly.
The woman is the commercial. She's the help meet. And I
Exactly.
told women that. I said, look, y'all, look, do you want to? Because I even told women, I said, look, do you really want to be with a man who's not doing anything with his life? I mean, I understand you want to get with him sexually,
Right.
some
Yeah.
of them,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately, even him, you want him to be able to do something with his life. Because I actually had somebody hit me up private. They got a lot of young ladies I talk to privately. They give me a lot of perspective. They
Perspective.
just they like I can get an idea what's going on with them. And one said, "Well, I would want a man to do this and this woman." But I was like, I've talked to you before. You don't respect those men. You
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
laugh at them getting money out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Exactly.
saying seriously.
Yes.
Somebody telling me, "Oh yeah, this guy paying this, and this." Okay, I guess you like that. That won't happen with me, and I'm telling guys not to do that. So don't be mad if you find
Exactly.
one that's not listening to me. I'm saying, look, you got man has to be on his mission. And even though women don't like the word submission, all submission means you helping with his mission. Because if the woman's helping with his mission, he don't have a problem supporting her, giving her
Exactly.
like what a lot of stuff she says she wants. He'll support her too, but she has to support him.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Because ultimately, y'all going in the same direction. So she actually benefits from him doing his thing.
Exactly. That's exactly what we said on our last
Our
podcast
last,
too.
yeah, last
You know,
podcast.
when a man puts himself in position to strive for more and strive for better, and when putting yourself first, it's always going to be better for the female
Mm-hmm.
if she's along with your program for sure, which is
Yes.
crazy. And it's actually funny, Mr. Wills, that nowadays a lot of men they're or young men I would say because that's within our like age range that I've seen is like they feel like they have to prove something to the lady or the woman or whoever they're talking to and stuff like that, which is why self-love is very key. You must love yourself
Yes.
because like you said, that is the first relationship you will ever have is with yourself, knowing thyself, living with yourself and understanding yourself so that way you can just live better and positively. So big
Well,
advocate for that.
let me address something you said.
Yes,
That
sir.
whole thing about proving something to the lady. gonna tell you something I learned just in my life, and I spread this to as many as every time that subject comes up.
Mm-hmm.
That woman's been looking at you, and you have no idea. She been checking you out for about 3 months.
Yeah.
You don't have to prove, because one, you don't know what she's actually looking for. Two, I always say women choose, and trust me, they scoping out a guy. The best thing a guy can do is just do his thing. If a woman, she either like him or she don't. If she don't, that's okay. Because you get too many guys, they want to change up for the woman, but one, the woman might deal with them for a little bit if she's getting some benefit, but she's not going to respect him. And he's not going to respect himself.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
He has to be happy within himself, because if he's not happy within himself, that relationship's not going to work.
100.
He has to love himself. He can't prove it. He don't know what she wants. She might, everything he's bringing, even if it seemed like some nerdy stuff, he might be into video games and stuff. She might be into it too. I met some women, you look at them, and according to stereotypes, very beautiful. You think, oh yeah, you got to pay for them, and you got to do all this, and shoot, they just wanted a good conversation.
Exactly.
So a man needs to don't even try to really impress, because you don't know that particular woman. Just say, look, this is who I am. You either like it or you don't. In fact, when I was younger and would meet some women who be wanting to hook up right away, and I know some guys will wish they would have it, but trust me, that's not always a good thing. I would say, hold up, why don't you take some time to satisfy yourself? I'm not a knucklehead. But I ain't gonna try to impress you. I'm gonna be me. In fact, I used to get in trouble with some women because they say, Ron, you just blunt. Just straight up. But I'm like, in fact, some guys used to tell me, say, you know, you be initiating these women because you just you. Yeah. And there were some women who told me straight up they ain't like me at first, but then they kept paying attention. They said, hold up, you ain't a bad guy. Be honest.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Right.
See, women don't know what they like until you get me? It just
Until
takes
they
more
start
time.
looking at you.
It takes
and
more
what
time.
you do.
Exactly. And I know one of your famous things is when you said you went to the strip club and you were just eating your little buffalo wings in the corner while your friends are spending money on the women and stuff like that. I was like, that's powerful. That is powerful because people
that's
get in there.
all I wanted, because I'm hanging out with friends and I'm like, I can't touch them or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna eat. I'm hanging out with my friends. They trying to like touch them. In fact, I got one time I was there with a friend and he grabbed a woman, got kicked out. I was like, man, I ain't finished my food yet. I apologize. I said, hey, look, I'm sorry for my friend. I'm walking out of the place with some beer and a popcorn.
Some bone wings and stuff like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, seriously, because it was just like, I look, just me personally, unless they did something, like I ain't gonna lie and say I didn't go, but unless they did some crazy acrobatic thing and they could have been fully clothed when doing it, I wasn't paying any money. I'm hanging out with friends. Let's put it like this. I never went by myself.
Yeah.
It was always with my buddies. Always just say, let's hang out. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And I'd just be sitting there like, okay, y'all do y'all thing.
Yeah.
You know? And it's nothing against the whip, but it's just my thing was, that wasn't doing me any good just looking at them.
Yes.
Exactly.
Enough for you not even to like take out your wallet and stuff like that, which is what we talk about to us. That's like, I mean, no knock or anything on people who go to strip clubs and decide to spend their money. Because one time we had done that, you get me? But it was an experience because we're young. And to us, it was like kind of like, it's not, it doesn't feel right. It's like, we use the word simpish. Like, it's just simpish. Like you blowing your money on some women you do not know just for them throwing some booty and stuff like that. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know. It just that's
my point, man. I was like, I gotta get something out of this if I'm going to. Shit. And I wasn't down for that, but I said, shoot. I mean, I give them $1.
Might as well get a meal.
Sometimes if they were cool or something, but most of the time it'd be like, like I said, they do a nice flip on the pole. I was like, oh, I like that. Okay, I respect that.
Nice little back.
Other than that, I'm just sitting there chilling. And I said, okay, y'all don't force me to do anything. But see, that was just me, because that's always been my attitude. I'm like, okay, what's she doing for me?
Yeah.
What's she doing for me? Because I've been that young. I ain't gonna say I've been perfect. I've been that guy chasing some woman and she ain't showing no interest. So I'm like, okay, this don't work. So I'm gonna stop doing it.
Yeah, and that's what made you the man you are today, and the knowledge that you can spit because you have learned from that. You reflected and you have learned from that. So very key. And I kind of wanted to dive in as far as because relationships are a big part. More majority of the population, or everybody in their lifetime will eventually jump into one. So I wanted to get your insight as far as like when vetting a woman and prospecting a woman for a long-term relationship, what should a man exactly be looking for instead of, looks? Yeah, of course you want a beautiful lady, but it's more to that. It's always more to that. So from your perspective, what can you say that men should really be diving into on these women to vet them for the
Well,
long run?
what is her character like? I mean, of course, it's obvious. Is she an asset to you? But
Mm-hmm.
what is she bringing to you? What's her character? What's her agenda? Because sometimes a woman can seem like an asset at first, and you get a lot of women they'll fool you. They'll have a sex with you and pump up your ego, but that's not really their agenda. Like one of the things I like to do is pay attention to how she behaves when she's not dealing with you. Just sit back and just say, how's she treating these other people? Or what did she say about her exes? Or what did she say about men in general? Because I've met some women and they would be real friendly to me, but they were talking trash about other men, like badly, men they hadn't dealt with. And I was like, I ain't gonna deal with you. Because you'd be the type, guarantee you go away and then be talking trash about me.
About you.
Like, look at her character. Look at what she's going to do. Think about what you need her to do. Like a lot of guys, they want that legacy.
Yes.
They want that family. Would she be a good mother? Now, I've said before, like my stuff hasn't been perfect. I've been through divorce, but then me and my co-parent, we got a really great relationship because even before we got married, and I say, okay, is this the type of woman I can have children with? Like that's something to think about too. Even if you just want to have sex, you got to think, what if this woman has my child? There's plenty of women I left on the table, didn't deal with because I said I can't even take that chance. You got to look at their character. You got to look at a bunch of little things. You need to look at how they deal with money. That's a major thing. Even though I say, I say don't be tricking anything like that. But if you're in a relationship, you still got to pay bills.
Exactly.
So if you meet a woman and she just want to spend, and you like, well, hold up. My plan is to save my money and build up something, a business. I can't be dealing with her. Right. Seriously, I would recommend, like, in fact, when they have marriage counseling or pre-marriage counseling, they'll talk about the relationship and all of that. Sometimes they'll talk about the sex. They need to be talking about finances because I'm going to say this, marriage is a business. It's better they got to think about it. Yeah, y'all love each other, but, if there's a problem keeping the bills paid, you getting a bunch of cutoff notices, that's going to affect things because y'all thinking differently. One wants to save money, the other one wants to spend it. So you got to know that. You got to think about that. You got to think about if y'all practicing the same religion. You got to look at that. You got to look at all those things. You got to think about every aspect of your life. In fact, I would tell men, I would tell women too, think about them outside the bedroom. Okay, y'all done had sex. Okay, now what? What kind of food y'all going to eat? Where are you going to live? How do you each other? Well, in this case, men. In evaluating a woman, how does she handle stress? And pay attention to everything, because a woman, she can put on that mask. Like there's plenty of guys that got a woman thought they were getting one thing and then got another. You pay attention to every little thing, every little thing. So you want to look at her character overall. And does it really mesh with your mission?
Right.
Because there's been a lot of guys who've been messed up because they got that woman, but then when they really get on their mission, she wants them to do something else. I've seen women marry some guys and they trying to really control them.
Yes.
They trying to change them. They trying to shape them. I mean, I've actually had, when I was younger, I actually had a couple women. One was bold. She said she was on the phone talking to a friend and said, yeah, I knew she was talking about me. Yeah, I'm going to mold them and all of this. And, I just looked at it and laughed. And then years later, she said, you know what, Ron? I ain't need to do anything with you. Exactly. I should have just accepted what I had. And ironically, we weren't really in a relationship. It was a friends with benefits. It was what it was. But even then, part of the reason it was that because she was trying to change, and I was like, why don't you sit back and see what I'm about?
Exactly.
So a man needs to pay attention to that because it's his mission. And even if a man gets a woman tries that, he needs to look at her and say, "Well, hold up. You got with me. This is what I was doing. I'm not going to change up."
For anything.
Because first
Exactly.
of all, a woman doesn't respect when a man changes up anyway.
Exactly.
She don't respect it. I've seen that a lot of times. Guy think he changing up, and then a woman is bored. Because understand something, you know I'm going on women, but I gotta say this: you got some grown women out there, and then you got some little girls. And see, that's something else too. Is she a grown woman or a little girl? Because a little girl is me, me, me. The grown woman wants to give to you and see what she can do to help. It's just that
Exactly.
simple.
To be
Exactly.
the acid in your life.
Exactly. And it's crazy that you mentioned that because there was women that I was seeing and stuff like that as far as it was just strictly on, sexual type stuff, like friends with benefits type. And it was crazy because some of these women, they actually would buy me stuff and would try to take me out on their own dime and stuff of that sort. And like, they would just like stay down to me, even though I told them straight up like exactly what I wanted. And from
Mhm.
understanding as far as like they knew the business, but at the same time, knowing that I was never gonna be their boyfriend, they still wanted to help me and they still wanted to be in my life. And
Okay.
so it's very powerful as far as like, learning how to always, yeah, put yourself first, like you said. And of course, never changing up just for some pussy or anything of that
Yeah.
sort. So, and that's thanks to you and Mr. Lucario and, Steve the Dean, all of them, because you guys really do preach crazy. I want to ask, did you go to the Game Kings 2 seminar? Were you in that one this year?
I was in the one they had in New York. I didn't go to Las Vegas. I had just come off of something anyway. I said,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
that's too much stuff back to back. So, I mean, that saw that they had a great time, but I was at the one in New York.
In New
In
York.
NY.
Yeah,
Nice.
so we
Wonderful.
filmed some stuff. We had a very powerful seminar, really helping with some men, because that's the big thing. Yeah, I get called a dating coach, and some people think it's just some joke stuff, but got a lot of men out there who really need some
Who
help.
need it?
Yeah, but
Who
exactly.
really need it?
Exactly. That's true.
Who were lost?
You were
Some
lost.
people
Yeah,
are
Yeah.
no, because
lost.
we had some grown men. We had one guy crying, and this guy was a big guy, and we really encouraged him because a lot of
Yeah.
guys see a lot of men go through some stuff, but we supposed to be tough all the time, but we still human.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Understandable. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
We're
100%.
going to make mistakes. We go through some things, and I actually recommend some men get help. I've been on like consultations, and I said, okay, you got something that you need to deal with here. I can't help you with that. You need to get some professional help. I can give you my philosophy. I can give you some general advice, but you're asking about something that's deeper than what I can provide.
Right.
And I have no problems doing that because the thing is, we all have our demons going through life. All of us. All anybody
Exactly.
say they don't, I'm gonna say, okay, either you just staying in the house and just avoiding life, period, or you're lying.
Exactly. Or you're blind to it. You're just blind. You're just trying to be
Uh,
blind to
that's
it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. You know what? I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
They just ignoring it. They just
Ignoring
closing
it.
their eyes. It's like, no, we all gone through it.
You're
See,
supposed to
one of the
embrace
things
it.
I do, I don't want y'all to make the same mistakes I did.
Uh-huh.
I don't want y'all. I want all my young supporters. I want you. In fact, I want all of y'all when y'all reach my age to be at an even higher level. I'm not one of those older men who want to feel like I'm better than all of y'all and look down. I'm like, no, I want y'all to surpass me, every single one of y'all.
Thank you.
And seriously, I want y'all to surpass me. Seriously, I want y'all to be so big. I'm be like, yeah, I feel good about that. I want to sit back and chill and eat some buffalo wings.
Wings, yes, sir. Your favorite. Your favorite. We might join you on that too. So
We're gonna have some meals together soon.
exactly.
All
Wonderful.
Some
right.
meals.
Mr. Wills, I know you preach body game. So I wanted to get into like body game as far as like what is the importance of that? Like for men. What body
Uh,
game, what is the importance?
believe it or not, it's deeper than just aesthetics.
Okay.
It's deeper. I mean, that's a very important part. Yeah, it draws women's attention. It turns them on sexually.
Mm-hmm.
But the body is a man's vehicle for going through life. See, masculinity is about taking action. We're not supposed to really be sitting around. We're built to be hunters. We're built to be warriors.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a problem, our very nature is to go solve it. But if we're not in good shape, if we're not healthy, we can't solve the problem. We don't feel like it. You know,
Right.
when I was at the gym this morning, I was talking with another gentleman. Now I'm 58. That gentleman was 56. And we were talking about how, you know, you got so many guys out here, even younger, they just not in good shape. Forget about getting women, just being in shape,
Yeah.
just being able to do stuff, being able to take action.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I talk about the house of the man. Part of it's being a warrior. You got to protect yourself and your loved ones. You can't do that if you can't, like, you physically unable to do so
Right. Right. Right.
because you just been sitting around. You know, a man got to be a hunter. You got to be a hustler out here.
Exactly.
You know, hunting for us in this society isn't going out finding some game, but when I say game, like animals, killing it, hunting and all of that, but we got to make money.
Exactly.
We gotta make money because even you know, even when I'm doing videos for my different channels, I gotta be in a certain amount of shape just to sit up and do that.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yeah.
And I do my car videos. I gotta be able to stay up and then, you know, pay attention, stay awake and all of that. And then just being out and about. So, you know, that's our vehicle. A
Mm-hmm.
man needs to have that vitality. Yeah, he can get women with it, but he's gonna have to work. Let's be real. Most men, they gotta go out and work.
Exactly.
And then you gotta stay, you know, you gotta be healthy, you gotta take care of yourself, you gotta be able to eat well and everything. That's the vehicle because if you're not feeling good, you're not gonna even be able to think right. A
Right.
lot of people can't think right because they're stressed out, you know, they eating poorly, they not feeling well. If you're not feeling well, you're not going to even be able to think to do anything. So that's the ultimate importance. Now I'm known for saying talking about how it gets the ladies interested in everything because I mean that's just reality, but it's even bigger than that. That's just
Mm-hmm.
one part of it,
Yes, sir.
and I want guys to really understand that.
That's wonderful too.
100%.
And it's crazy because like you were preaching too, like not everybody has to be in crazy physical shape or just anything like that because women are drawn to different body parts and different types. Like as far as men too, like, you know, I've seen fit men with like bigger plus size women and stuff like that.
Mhm.
You know, it's just like everybody has their attraction to whatever they may see. So like, you know, it's for guys out there who think like, I mean, it's good to get in the best shape possible for sure. But for guys who are out there who think they are not worthy, which of course starts with yourself, like, you know, there's people out there for you for sure. There's always people out there for you. So that's
Man,
very key.
I'm gonna tell you what, I still remember this I always talk about a very petite, very attractive woman. A
Mm-hmm.
guy had to be clinically obese for her.
Wow.
I mean, but you know what? That's what she liked
Exactly.
because that's just the truth. Women
Hmm.
like different things. That's why I talk about a tribe. I just say, look, get in your best shape and see which women are paying attention.
Exactly.
And that's all you have to do. And see, the beauty of it is she's already predisposed to being cooperative with you, predisposed to being an asset to you.
Right.
And it's a fair exchange is no robbery. We're the same way. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we like different bodies on a woman. And I'm gonna tell
Exactly.
Exactly.
you something on a deep level. That's a part of compatibility because if you look at many couples, not all of them, of course, because you will get the fit guy and the bigger woman, but many couples they around the same body build and everything.
Yes.
So
That's so
that's getting deep. You looking at each other, it's like a pile. You feel something because communication isn't just verbal, but it's also through the body. You actually gonna feel something.
Mm-hmm.
Like your body will feel something around somebody that you're compatible with. Like there's a woman I met at my local gym, and we kind of clicked right away. And I was like, man, I feel real calm around her. You know, her brother work out there too, so there could be some issues because he might be like, watch how you are with my sister, even though she a grown ass woman. But you know,
Hey, yeah, exactly, exactly. That's crazy because the as far as we already hopped on the body game, so
mhm.
I wanted to drift as far as like let's rewind back to 20 21 years old, Mr. Wills, because that's the age range we are in. So from 20 to 21 years old, any advice you could give to these young men to start doing now to set themselves up for the future with
um,
women and just in their life in general? Best
what
advice
I
you can
would
get.
what I would say is, yeah, you're gonna have your fun, but that's the best time to really start thinking about what you really want to do.
Yes, sir.
What you really, I mean, that's all I can say. It's like you're still young. Yeah, you still want to party and do all that, but then that's when you start thinking, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to get into? What do I like to do? Like I would advise every young man to think, okay, if say you had magically $1 billion, you don't have to worry about working. What would you do for free?
Mm.
And whatever that is, that's what your mission is.
Right.
Okay, like what I do now, and my co-parent pointed this out. She used to call it the ROM ticker because I always had a comment about something. But at the time, I ain't think about doing videos or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
And, but then I look back at it, I say, I always had expressed my opinion on something. It can be very opinionated, but I ain't think about it like making money or anything. In fact, some people had told me that, oh, Rom, you'll make a great teacher. And I'm like, I don't have patience for that. But then I'm thinking about it. That's basically what I'm doing now.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
Because a person, I'm going to tell you what, every person, but we're going to just talk about men, is blessed with something. Got something in them. And they don't even think about it. Like I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, you're really good at organizing men together. And he didn't think about it. I was like, because I've known, ever since I know him, he always could get groups of men together to do something like some serious work. But he didn't think about it. It was just so natural to him. See, I would tell every young man, think, what is it about you? Just sit back and think, what is natural to you? And it can be tough to think because we're so used to it. And when you're so used to doing something that's second nature to you, you don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're not automatically making money with it. But it could be, and it could be anything. You might be a young man might be somebody who is really interested in ants. Now somebody say, well, no, that's crazy. They're just ants. But if somebody has an ant infestation, somebody who knows how to deal with that will can make a lot of money. Or you got some like scientists, they'll study ant colonies and everything. You never know. They could probably figure out something. I don't care what it is. Mm-hmm. It could be, you might be somebody really interested in cleaning up. Now people say, well, what's the big deal about that? But somebody will always make money cleaning. It could be anything, cutting grass. You got millionaires and they might have started out with a lawnmower somewhere, but they're really good at landscaping. But you get some people, especially some millionaires, they'll give you like 5 figures just to landscape their property. Mm-hmm. But and it's something, and see, here's the beauty of it. You always want to feel some joy with what you're meant to do.
Exactly.
Because you get some people, they'll get educated, highly educated in something, and then they don't like it. They leave it because they don't feel any joy. Mm-hmm. So, but I would highly recommend like a 21-year-old to really start thinking about it. Even if it might take a while, it might just to pop up to them. But get started then. Because ultimately, men really reach their peak. If they're going to reach a peak, or really, no, I'm going to say get on their mission, it's going to be by their 30s. It's really tough for a man after their 30s to get on it. Seriously, I've seen this constantly.
Yes, sir.
There's always going to be an exception, but most men, if they're going to get on their mission, to do so by then.
Yes, sir.
And really, and also too, as much as I talked about the mission part, get the fun out of your way when you're 21, because one of the saddest things I've seen is men in their 40s and 50s still acting like young men.
Yep.
It's a sad thing. It's like, yeah, you can have fun and laugh, still have fun, but not in the same way as a young man. Mm-hmm. But you got some older guys, they even dressing and expressing themselves like they still like in their 20s or even teens. Yeah. See, one of the things a man has to be is an adult. He has to be a sovereign man. He has to be a leader. Mm-hmm. Y'all notice I don't use that term alpha and beta a lot. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I say every single man is an alpha of his world.
Exactly.
So you have to, I would say 21, you start preparing, because when you get up there, that's your world. You know, even if you in a family, you the alpha of that family.
Mm-hmm.
You the alpha because women, despite what they say, they still look to a man for leadership. Now you don't have to be a dictator. She'll follow automatically.
Right.
And trust me, she's gonna want you to like take charge. That's one thing I say. I know some women say, no, we got this or that, but I say, hold up, but when stuff hits the fan, you looking at the man.
Mm-hmm.
So the man has to be prepared regardless. He can still let her do her thing as long as it's in cooperation to his operation, as long as it's part of the whole family picture. And as soon as she goes away from that, then she's no longer an asset. So you got to look at that relationship. But at the end of the day, we're the ones who got to figure out a way out of that situation. We're the ones at 3 o'clock in the morning who got to go down and go check on that noise.
Mm-hmm.
We're the ones expected to bring the money, and no matter what. Like I say don't lead with your wallet, but I still say you got to make some money for yourself. And if you're in a relationship, you're still making it for the overall relationship, especially if you have a wife and children. Because then you got to be protect. You got to protect her, but then you also got to guide your children.
Right.
Exactly. Yes, sir. Like you said, never leave with your wallet. Use your
Mhm.
wallet to live your life, like you said.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Because the woman's gonna come along anyway. I did a video today talking about all these women getting with guys and the guys not like really paying or anything.
Mm-hmm.
The guy don't need to do that. And then when you're in a relationship, you're not paying for it anyway. You paying for the house that you sleeping in. She just get the benefit from it. Yeah, as well. But you're still your home.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people might be like, oh no, it's theirs. I say, okay, look. You gotta protect it, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
gotta
you do.
protect it. You expected to lead. And yeah, you can say, oh yeah, it's our home, but it's my home.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I know
sir.
some people will jump on me about that. I'm saying no, because see, here's an issue I got, a real issue I got out here. When everything is kind of cool, everybody's like, oh, we cooperative. But when stuff hit the fan, they looking at us, oh, what y'all gonna do about it? So I'm like, okay. If we got a lead and everything, no, we're gonna say this is why we say don't do this.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We doing it to protect you. Because our very part of our nature is to be an eagle. We see down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's what a leader does. A leader, like say if you married and you have a child and you want that child to go to college, the child's still a toddler. The man is the one that says, okay, we got to put this much money away. We got to do this and that. That's just our nature.
Yeah.
We step by step stuff.
Yes, sir. That's true.
And even when women, they might have a vision or something. I was like, well, I see that house on the hill. I bet I want a house on the hill too. Okay,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
what we got to do to get there.
To get that.
Because we
Mhm.
take action. That's the
Exactly.
bottom line. The natural order of things is really for the woman to chill out. She wants to nest. That's her nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's her nature. In fact, a lot of women out here call themselves independent and stuff. They don't want to work.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen plenty of women, they switch up as soon as they get a guy who's willing to take care of them. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it so many times. You got a lot of there's more traditional women out here than people realize. So the man's got to say, you know what? I'm going to take care of all this because part of it is part of his sovereignty. He wants his home because, well, he wants to live good. He wants to make sure the cars are working.
Family's
If
good.
he have in the legacy, you want to make sure she good, and then the children are good. And we're just going to take the lead. And if she want to argue about this, say, no. I'm doing this for the whole family. This is what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I've had women actually say they respect a man who just say, look, this is what I'm going to do. Because they do not, I'm going to repeat this, they do not respect a man who ain't handling his business.
Right.
100.
Mm-hmm.
Even if, and they will test him. Sometimes they'll test a man to see if he's going to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't care, forget all this politically correct stuff. They still want that man to do what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
When
Exactly.
shit hits the fan, they want the man to solve the problem. So it's like, okay, I'm going to solve it, but this way you can't make it hard for me. Or if you're going to make it hard or be difficult, we can't be together.
Right.
So man, that's why a man needs to vet that woman, make sure she's an asset. She's in cooperation with his operation.
Mm-hmm.
100. And I feel like, love can be blinding in some cases for sure. So
Yeah.
understanding and having your emotions in control at all times as a man is very key because you know they can either be a detriment towards your success or like you said an asset towards your success. So very key,
Well,
very key.
let me touch on that love thing. What people call love is nothing but lust. What Western people call love is nothing but, if you really look at it, like when women say, like when women, they'll say, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. You say, okay, you ain't in lust with that person. Real love is understanding. Real love is tolerance. It's respect. It's responsibility. It's forgiveness when it's warranted. It's appreciation. That's the real thing. A lot of times when people talk about love is just lust. I was like, I said that on a Facebook post one time. I said, y'all need to stop saying you love somebody. Just say you lust somebody. This woman told me, she said it straight up, she said, okay, Rom, I lust you. We did. And I was like, okay, seriously. Because that's the thing. Because I never did like that, oh, we fall out of love or something. I'm like, y'all fall out of lust.
Exactly.
Love is just going to be there. In fact, true love is built. Like, that's a problem with the marriages and stuff now. People getting married for the wrong reason. You got to say, hold up, because this is part of business. Yeah, y'all got to have a true love for each other, which means there's going to be some times y'all not going to be speaking, or sometimes y'all need to be in separate rooms. But true love means y'all going to talk it out. Ain't going to be about the sex. Yeah, that's important. That's important, that closeness, that intimacy. Oh, yeah, I love that. But don't call it you call it what it is. It's lust. And you got, I mean, you need that spark, but then you need the other stuff. Y'all need to be on the same page money wise, because that trust me, that's gonna cause some trouble. You know, y'all need to be on the same spiritual path. Y'all need to be clicking, because y'all growing together, because everything y'all do is going to affect each other.
Yes.
Once again, another reason men need to be very careful on how they spend time with any woman, even in casual sex relationships. Need to make sure she got some sense. Like, even to the point, like, if you dealing with a woman and she's showing her behavior, she wouldn't be a good mother. You need to stop messing with her, because you get some women playing that pregnancy trap thing. There's been many a guy who rolled from the woman, and all of a sudden she talking about she pregnant just to keep him around.
Damn. That's scary.
That is
That's very scary.
But it's true.
It is true though. Yeah.
It's very true.
And we were talking about that, like, actually, not even that, but we were talking about that one day, and we were talking about how, like, sometimes we may miss this female, but it's really like, nah, we just, want to smash again or something like that.
I was talking to him about some girl that I used to talk to, and it's like, I missed the girl, but then he was like, bro, do you really miss her? It's more the lust.
Yeah,
he
missed the
like,
cheeks.
It's just, missed the cheeks. That's pretty much it. And like, it's crazy. It's crazy to really think about it. It's just really all lust until you really find the one that's really into you, and that's the one. Then
exactly, like you guys advocate too strongly.
Exactly.
Just mess with the women who want to mess with you. Like, they don't make it hard; they make it easy for you. It is super true, because then your life will go so much smoother. And like, it's not always gonna be like the top tier ones. And people, certain guys been there like, I need tens, I need baddies, but like you said, what is she doing for you? You get me? Besides her looks, besides stuff like that, which is very key.
Let me try something with that 10 thing too. Get a woman who's just going to take care of herself. There's been many a woman, when they like 25, they a baddie. They find that, hey, they can get a big following on IG, or they can get on OnlyFans when they're 25. But if their mind isn't right, they're going to be jacked up when they're 35. Meanwhile, you get that woman, she might not have been what society calls all that, maybe more of a plain Jane, but she'll keep herself up, keep herself fixed up. And she's the one who, years later, y'all been together 20 years, y'all in your 50s, she's still at least fixing herself up. She keeping herself together. See, ultimately, a man should look for that woman, definitely that he finds attractive, but also is going to keep herself up. She's going to fix up, because she's going to love herself enough to fix up.
Right.
So that's the thing, because, and I'm gonna tell you what, even about that dime thing.
Yeah.
I lost count how many women I dealt with once that makeup came off. I'm like, what the hell? Seriously. You look at them, it's like they look totally different. One woman I dealt with, the difference between her in makeup and her without makeup was like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah.
Yes.
You got to. I was like, well, how? What the heck? It's like I was dealing with literally two different people.
It's
Exactly.
scary out there, huh?
It is scary. And this on top of that too, you know, some of these dimes, considered dimes, like when it comes to the sex, they don't even know how to like fuck right in a sense. Like you would have like the ones who are not, I guess, so attractive, but you know, you're doing the fucking, of course, but you know, their sex game isn't right. It's the ones that are the least attractive that are right. You know, it all comes into play. Like it is,
Yeah,
it's more to it.
It does. That's why ultimately it's about her whole being. What is she bringing? What is
Exactly.
she bringing? And
Mm-hmm.
see, I've seen some guys, they get too caught up in just how she look, but she don't bring anything else. That's a waste
Mm-hmm.
because that's messing up his mission. That type of woman is taking him off of his purpose, out of his main relationship with himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you gotta have that woman who's supportive. And honestly, I know guys will be saying tens, but a woman who keep herself up and stuff, she's gonna be at least be above average. A lot of women don't bother
Mm-hmm.
keeping themselves up. So if she's above average, just fixing her, keeping herself fixed up, keeping herself in shape, eating right, and everything, she's gonna be above average.
Mm-hmm.
And then a woman with a smile
Mm-hmm.
and a woman who cares about you, that's way above average to me. Way above average. She actually cares about you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you might be feel down. And that whisper in your ear, like, baby, you got this. I know you got this. I got you. I know you got this.
Mm-hmm.
That means so much if she's sincere. That's
Exactly.
powerful. Now that's one thing. I mean, there's actually a lot of women out here who are looking for a strong guy, but unfortunately, some of the ones who are bad tend to be the loudest.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
It's true.
thing.
It's true.
But here's the thing, too. Let me give you some deep game on it. The more you fix yourself up, the more you will draw the right woman to you.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bad ones, they already know, okay, I can't mess with him. They'll be scared to. The more you fix yourself up, because the bad ones, they looking for a victim. They looking for a mark. But if you strong in who you are, you going in your direction, and that woman see it, she ain't even gonna bother. And in fact, some of them, they might even try to change themselves just to appeal. They'll say, you know what, you getting my stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
You still like, you don't have to mess with them, but that's just letting them know. But yeah, that's seriously, man. If a man gets himself right, he's gonna find even the level of women that find him attractive that he come around is going to be very different than what he might have been going through.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how powerful it is. Because see, understand something. The man is the sun. We are the sun. Women supposed to orbit us.
Exactly.
You know, and that's one thing. That's why you got some guys when they chasing women a little too hard. I'm like, man, the sun don't move. The sun sit there. A king be sitting there chilling.
Right.
Exactly. And
So
in the
get yourself together. Get yourself together. And if you notice, when women see that type of man, those the ones that they'll cook for.
mm-hmm.
Because they going, that's their seduction thing. They'll work hard. They'll start changing up. You know, because they trying to get you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you can still approach them and everything, but even then, they got to realize they got to carry themselves in such a way just to move you to approach them.
Yes,
Like
sir.
I wouldn't recommend guys approach just a bunch of women, but you see that woman, she carry herself. You walk over and say, "Hey, how you doing? You know, I saw you from over here. Think you're very attractive. What's your name?"
Mm-hmm.
If she is carrying herself in a true way. Now she on some like crazy stuff, it's just like, man, she got a nice ass, but I'm gonna keep walking.
Exactly. And
It's that lust
in the
mindset.
words of Pimp God as well, I am her light. Like he said, I am her light.
Oh, okay.
It's true.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
seen Pimp God. People
Pimp
don't
God.
realize how powerful that man is.
Yeah, hey, he be spitting some crazy game too. You know, he's really on point with it too. But
Yeah.
I did have one more question for you, Mr. Wells, before we wrap up a bit. I wanted to ask you, as far as these men when it comes towards the dating life and everything like that.
Mhm.
To wrap it up, how can these men have a more successful dating life nowadays? Like, what should they be doing personally to have a
Oh,
better dating life?
well, here's the thing. Fix themselves up. Because if they get rejected by 20 women, the only thing those women had in common was really him. Fix themselves up. Have standards for yourself.
Mm.
Have standards for yourself. Only deal with that woman who could possibly be an asset. Don't deal with it, and not just because she look all fine and everything, but she can be an asset. Because the man, he got to be at peace with whatever he does, and that's the only thing he has control. So yeah, hit the gym, dress well, think about your mission, be on your mission, just your mission itself. Like being a writer, many of the women I've attracted to me were writers themselves, or at least interested. My co-parent is a writer. Like I said, we still cool. Yeah, the thing didn't work out, but there were a lot of other factors, and that gets into another conversation. I would just say you need a strong community to really make a marriage work,
Right.
and I'll leave it at that. But even with that, me and her still cool. We still support each other. We're the best of friends,
For sure.
And part of it was on me too. So I'll just leave it at that too. So, but
Last
the
one.
thing
Last one.
is, I noticed the women I would draw to me were always interested in my writing. They always had some connection to it, whether it was as lovers or just as friends. So just being on the very path I was on drew the type of women that I need. So if a man, no matter what he does, he get on that mission, he's going to find himself attracting women who are automatically, even on a subconscious level, in cooperation with that operation, in submission to that mission, willing to help and everything. But he has to have something going on for him first.
Yeah, he has to have motion going in.
Yeah, exactly. He gotta have something, because the women, trust me, the women are always looking.
They're always peeping.
Yeah, they always stuff. So when they see that you doing something, the ones who gonna be right for you, that's what they attracted to.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what they attracted to. Because the women I would deal with, either writers, the serious ones, or they like to read or something.
Exactly.
And that's for the most part. There's always going to be somebody who ain't in all that, and they might just be attracted to you. But then, even then, you're going to find over the long term that don't work. Because there was a woman I dealt with, and really wasn't she had a few things, but not totally what I needed. And I know the relationship was, got together a couple times, but that was it.
Understood.
But the most part, the woman who's going to come to you, but you got control. Don't worry about the women. Focus on yourself.
Always, one and only. Always. And if you could get a 2-minute brief description on why men like toxic relationships, because I understand you dropped a video about that, but I didn't get to it. So men in toxic relationships, why do they like it?
One of the things is just a superficial thing. She had a fat ass. Honestly. Yeah. Now, some people will say, well, yeah, their moms might have been toxic and all of that, and that's a possibility. But the biggest single thing is they want that woman so bad, they just put up with it. Like, the other factors come in, but let's be real. A man ain't going to get in a toxic relationship with an ugly woman or one he's not attracted to.
100%, yeah.
So the thing is, some guys, they putting that woman on such a pedestal that they just going to put up with anything. Because we ain't gonna put up with some ugly woman no matter what. And yeah, sometimes it could be the mother or something. But you know what? I say it sometimes because there's been plenty of times the mother was very good to the son, but he got with that toxic woman because she looked pretty or something.
Exactly.
And she messed his head up. Because so many guys are chasing the image, the icon, but not looking at her character. So that's the biggest single reason. Of course, there's always going to be individual reasons, and some psychologically might have happened and everything. But the bad part is, once they deal with that one toxic woman, she can mess him up for other women, because then subconsciously, with other women, subconsciously, He's trying to solve that issue.
Yeah.
So he's going to keep going and going until somebody's like grabs him or he wakes up and say, hold up, I can't keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look at her character.
Exactly.
Because that's the biggest reason, guys. There's so many guys that get caught up because she was fine. And it was like, yeah, I can understand you're attracted to her, but you better find out what's on her mind. You better find out her character. Is she really an asset or a liability? You got to control. Hey, you got to have that discipline. You mentioned pimp God. One thing pimps have, I know people got issues with them, but they got discipline around their women.
They do.
So that's the thing that you can get from. You don't have to get into the business itself. I understand that, but having that discipline, you got to be able to say no. A lot of women use their sex as a weapon, and because it's with a guy who's not getting it otherwise. So if he can be like, hold up, you a problem. And trust me, I've left something on the table before that. I say, you fine, but I see the issues. I was like, what a waste. Like, okay. So.
Exactly.
Right, cool.
Mr. Wills, we do appreciate you, man, and your time. Very, very, very helpful, man. A master at what you do. And please let our audience know where they can find you on social media. And we would link it below as well, but let us know your channel and everything.
Look, just put in, go into YouTube, just type in my name, Rom Wills, and you'll find me. Then when you go to my channel, you'll find links to a couple other channels I have. You can go to my website, www.romwills.com. That leads you to all of my stuff.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So that's the thing. So, and let me say, young men, I'm proud of what y'all doing. I really do want to see y'all rise. Part of my mission is to see young men stand up. I wanted y'all to do it. I wish somebody had grabbed me when I was y'all age. I was kind of drifting along with some stuff. So I wasn't sure until I got into the writing. And it was like, but that was a few years later. So I want to see y'all just keep rising. I want y'all to be household names. And I really do mean that. I want y'all to be big. Just keep going with it. Just keep going. I like y'all set up here. Appreciate the respect that y'all showed.
For sure.
And so I see great things for y'all. I'm not just saying that. I see great things for y'all. Because I'll tell you straight up, I don't usually do stuff on Friday nights, man.
Oh, it's a Friday night.
It is,
I don't usually do stuff, man. I be chilling or doing something else, man. But I said, no, I want to help young men such as yourself get bigger. I want y'all, seriously, whatever I'm doing now, I want y'all way beyond that. I want y'all way beyond that, man. Because seriously, man, it's like every time, like when people hit me up, I know we're going a little bit over, just let me say this.
Yes, sir.
My biggest thing is when young men, they hit me up, but they're not necessarily telling me what they're doing with a woman, but they saying what they doing with their business. Whether they went back to school, they graduated, they got their business going, their life is better. That's the payment I want. I'm not just doing, if I just wanted to make money, just money, I could talk trash about women on a level that would scare people.
Exactly.
And I could throw out some bull out there, but I refuse to do that. I want to see young men such as yourselves be the best you can be. Keep rising. All right.
We will, sir.
Thank
and
you, Mr. Wills.
Just before we end up too, give us some time, Mr. Wills, but we will stick around for you for sure. We will keep following you on everything you do, as YouTube and everything. Give us like 3-4 years, not even with this YouTube thing, but we do have our own things that we have going on and that we aspire to do. So give us 3-4 years, peace, love, and blessings to you, Mr. Wilson. We do appreciate your time here for sure. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead and subscribe. Follow Mr. Wills. We'll link his Instagram and YouTube down below. And yes, sir, you already know. Thank you for tuning in once more. And let's get it.
Let's get it.
Yes, sir.